Hello guys, welcome to a new video on Tower of God New World, and in this video I'm going to give you my first impression on the two new ignition weapon sets, RAFFLESIA and Alocasia. Now, I have no idea how to pronounce them, so excuse me if I'm wrong, but if you do know the correct pronunciation, let me know. I will just go with mine in the meantime, which is probably a bit too Italian, but whatever. So, these two new ignition weapon sets, the way I feel they are going to influence the meta is that they are just going to be good sets. They have their pros for sure, but I don't feel like they're going to like power creep any of the existing sets. So it's not going to make other sets the same way that, for example, a Sela made a Bergamot set. So we're not going to see, I don't know, let's say, decrease in use of the previous ignition weapons. They are all pretty solid still, and these two new sets are just good additions if you wanna leverage their strength, but they are not like that OP. I mean, they're super good, but they're not at a level that you say, okay, this set is a must. It's not like the power level that a Sundance could have for a basic attack based DPS unit. No, these two sets are pretty solid, and I'm going to go over the details of both of them, also including some of the units I think you could run them on, and also which kind of presets you could create with them. So let's first look at what they do. We're going to start with RAFFLESIA here, and this set, the two-piece effect, is actually pretty interesting because we have the plus 10 swiftness that we also have in the Doris, but this one has an additional effect, which is 10% increased HP. Now, this increased HP is not too important, but definitely is a plus compared to an existing set, which I don't see why, to be honest. But okay, it's nice, and this also opens up the possibility of going two-piece Doris, two-piece RAFFLESIA for the plus 20 swiftness and 10% HP, which is not a bad deal. I would say in some scenarios you might want to run this kind of combination, especially in the cases that you were previously running two-piece L, two-piece Doris. You might want to run two-piece RAFFLESIA, two-piece Doris if the unit is more based on skills and wants to shorten their animations. Otherwise, if it's more based on basic attacks, then for sure go to piece L. But yeah, this also opens up all the previous two-piece Doris can directly be replaced with two-piece RAFFLESIA, and you're just going to get additional HP on top of it. So pretty solid already as an hybrid option. So yeah, I kind of like this two-piece effect. For the four-piece effect, if the wielder is inflicted with a status effect, it is immediately removed with a blessing, whatever, and the wielder becomes immune to status effects for 2 seconds and recovers 200 energy. This blessing does not activate again for 8 seconds. This is basically potentially a 25% immunity to status effects, so you're going to be immune to status effects 25% of the time if you're against like CC heavy team. For example, you're against an Noakin, or you're against, I don't know, like there are a lot of units with jolts, some soft CCs or some hard CCs. So this is definitely a good thing to have, especially if the enemies also have like the CCs only on the special moves. You can kind of reliably have this effect hap by the time they hit you with it. So you can at times even guarantee to keep on dodging annoying status effects, which is definitely nice. And on top of that, you also get the 200 energy. This set is more like for prolonged battles, not short ones. So if you plan on closing on a fight early, Runda is still better than this one. Doris is also going to buff your backline swiftness, which might be better in the short, like if you are looking to get some early benefits. Why am I mentioning Runda and Doris specifically? Because I think this set is going to be mostly used on supports, but not limited to them. And I'm going to talk more in detail about that later on. But for now, I'll just say that I'm comparing it to Runda and Doris because, well, this is providing energy as well, the same as Runda and Doris. Runda and Doris also provide the value to the team. Well, this one is only for the wielder. So, like, Runda can be extremely beneficial if you have a unit you need to have the special move cast as soon as possible before the enemy team, and at which point you might want to run Runda. So for example, if I want a E-Rang to cast the special move early, before the enemy team starts doing too many things, I want to have the special move cast as soon as possible, then you would still run a Runda on the support next to her. But let's say you don't have a need for that, like you have a Kaiser as your DPS. Kaiser doesn't really need energy that much because like you're not against bosses, yes, but in adventure you won't really need the application of the special move. Is not really a damage upgrade that much and is not that reliable. So in general, if you don't cast it early, it doesn't matter. So in that kind of scenario, I could see the support in a Kaiser team running Rafflesia instead. If you care more about her, like the support itself casting the special move and not having them CC'd, at which point you might want to run a Rafflesia set. So it's kind of situational, but also more versatile and more useful for like long fights. If the fight is going to end in like 30 seconds, doesn't really matter. Go Runda, go Doris, whatever. But if the fight is going to last like 1 minute, 1 minute and 20 seconds or whatever, like this kind of set is going to bring you more benefits in the longer run. So it's definitely a good set to have. And in general, I don't think I would run this set with offensive stat whatsoever. You can just fully go on resistances and that's it. You just need the unit that's wearing it to survive. I don't think I would run it on offensive units. You can still do it, like the same way you run a Sela on, for example, in Joaquin or Lilial or Tank Anak, whatever the case. You can run Sela on all those units and you can run a Rafflesia as well. They're basically like, you can run Rafflesia on all the same units you were running a Sela on, pretty much. And the same thing for Runda or Doris. So it's probably even more versatile than a Sela. But I would say Sela is a lot stronger early on and helps against teams that have like annoying debuffs, because Rafflesia does not protect against debuffs, only against crowd controls, so status effects. And the thing is, like, if you are against units that shred your resistances, you might want to go with Sela still for your frontline unit. If you're not facing units that are going to shred your resistances or whatnot, or don't have Pierce, then I would say you can easily run Rafflesia. You won't miss the Sela effect. There is one additional major thing to mention, and that is extremely relevant, and that is if you are against enemies that can remove buffs, and now we have 3 units that can do it, Urek, Anniversary Iwa, and Garam. If you're against them, your Sela effect is going to be removed almost immediately, and to reapply it, you would have to change the number of enemies, so kill one of them. If you can kill easily, then you will reapply your Sela effect until the enemy won't remove it again, but whatever. Rafflesia instead is not something you have on you. Well, the 2-piece effect, yes, but that's the same for all of them basically. So the 4-piece effect can still be applied even against those kind of units, and it's going to protect against the stun from Garam or like some annoying. I think also Urek should have a lot of jolts and stuff, so, or paralyzes, should be paralyzed. So yeah, it can definitely protect you a bit more against those kind of scenarios. So if you're facing Urek, Anniversary Iwa, or Garam, Sela won't really help you, so you might as well go with Rafflesia. So yeah, those kind of use cases, guys. I hope it was pretty clear when you would want to use this set and when it's better to go with the other ones. So I would say all in all, now that we have this kind of rate up, which is a 50% increase, basically because it's a flat 10% increase over the previous 20% rate. So it's effectively 50% more A rank pieces that we were getting before. I would say investing in these two new sets is definitely good. I still haven't talked about Alocasia, but I'm going to get there in a second. Still, just for RAFFLESIA alone, I would say this like Secret Floor is already pretty good value, so you might as well farm it. And I've personally created 3 RAFFLESIA set that we're going to see maybe in a second. So yeah, I definitely created some of them. I don't plan on actually using them too much right now, but they will come in handy for sure. Now, the second set, which is also quite interesting, is Alocasia, and this one is a bit trickier and more niche than RAFFLESIA, so you cannot really run it on a lot of units, but there are some units that can really benefit from it. So we have the 2-piece effect plus 50 evasion, which is okay because the second effect is based on evasion. And the 4-piece effect is going to be the wielder's evasion against an attacker's basic attack increases by 40%. If the wielder successfully evades an attack with this effect, their physical pierce increases by 6%, max 5 stacks. So it's a 30% physical pierce increase. The condition is not too bad because you also get a 40% evasion increase against basic attacks. And any unit in the game does basic attacks. So yeah, if you have it, obviously this is more a set for a close range unit. I wouldn't run it on a ranged unit because obviously they're not going to be hit as much, especially not by basic attacks. And when they're being hit by basic attacks, probably you're already losing the fight. So yeah, this is a set for close range unit and close range unit that deal physical damage. That's it. Now, the effect is pretty nice because even if you don't invest, even if you don't have evasion in your 3 Essence facility, it doesn't matter because with the additional 40%, chances are your evasion is going to be higher than the enemy. Maybe not by much, maybe by like 100, who knows, but it's going to be higher most likely. So I'd say you have good chances of proccing this effect and you're going to get additional physical pierce. This is obviously a really good set for units like Zahard that already have high evasion from his kit. The new unit Reflejo is also a kind of good user of this set, but not particularly. I mean, any warrior is fine because they also get evasion from Revolution, though not much. But they are all close range units and most of them deal physical damage. Some other good options are obviously, let's say, an Urek, let's say a Chalden Dorsey, Shilial, Shane, Asensio is a good one, Data Urek, Lilial. You can use it on really a lot of different units. The only requirement is that they're close range and that they deal physical damage. Now, the same problem I was mentioning before for the Sela set, and that is if you are against enemies that can remove your buffs, so Urek, Anniversary Iwa, and Garam, they can also remove the stacks from the 4-piece effect. So if you're against them, you still get the 40% increase in dodge, but then your stacks are not going to last much. So I don't know, is it worth it? Well, it's better than Sela, I'd say, but it's probably worse than a RAFFLESIA in that scenario. So if you're facing those kind of enemies, I wouldn't bother running this set unless you really care about evading directly. Like if you are like the hard that has the golden needle that's based on evading attacks, then sure, go for it. It's going to be pretty beneficial. Otherwise, not too important. Still is a good set, can be helpful again on all those close range physical damage dealers, like again Joaquin, Reflejo, Asensio, Lilial, whatever. Is it OP? Not necessarily, I don't think so. It's just 30% pierce is a nice increase, especially compared to the other options that could be potentially nothing, like a Sela. Just gives you additional survivability, which is huge if it's not being removed. And this is the counterpart, let's say, so more offensive capabilities, but again, can be removed from buff removals. So of the two sets, I would say Rafflesia is the better one and more solid, can be used on more units. Alocasia is a bit more niche, but still pretty good. So yeah, that's more or less my feeling. Now I can maybe show you a couple of sets that I created. Like let's go over my Asensio. And here I'm running him on a 4-piece Alocasia set. We can have a look at the stats real quick. It's not going to be crazy. Crit hit rate is pretty low. Crit damage increase, super low. This guy kind of suck. Well, my Asensio kind of suck, but okay. I have low evasion, 995. 100 swiftness, okay. I have 100 physical resistance, 113 magic resistance, and I do have 54% physical pierce. This is because I'm running a slot 5 physical pierce. This means that I only have 4% physical pierce in the substats because I have a 10 base from the origin orb, 40% from the main stat, and then 4%. This is really sad. It's really shitty, but like I used 2800 keys on this new secret floor and I only got average pieces. So here we can see my slot 5 with physical pierce, magic resistance, and physical resistance. This is funny that with 2 additional upgrades I got the same percentage as this one. Really crazy. This piece here is just a bit of physical resistance, magic resistance, main stat. And then this one again, resistances, really shitty roll. I'm not gonna lie. This one is okay, magic resistance, but not that needed. Physical pierce, 1.5. Really insane. 2.5 here for a total of 4%. Really disappointing in the physical pierce department, I'd say. So yeah, this is the first of the 2 Alocasia set that I created. And let me just check the other one. This Alocasia resistance strength. And this one just gives me more or less the same stats, but I don't have any physical pierce in this case. So you might say, then what's the pro of this one? Nothing. It's just that I didn't get good enough pieces. So this one is just a straight up downgrade compared to the other one. No questions asked. It's just worse. Now I might try and save some pieces from this to reuse on the other set, like maybe this one should be better. I need to check how much physical resistance the other one was giving me, or even this one. Man, I was really unlucky, guys. Really terrible. This one is even giving me magic pierce, but whatever. And this one also sucks. So yeah, this is the other set. I will just mostly use it on less relevant units, and I will use the other one on DPS oriented units. So it's definitely possible to run slot 5 with the physical pierce and still have 100% resistances. You can do it, and you can do better than me because I really have shitty subsets, as you saw. So this is pretty solid. I would say if you can run this, is a plus. But I don't know. Well, the thing is easy to reach physical resistance on warriors, and this is a set that mostly warriors will use, and you're not going to miss. I would still say slot 4 should be magic resistance because you're not going to miss the crit damage from it because warriors have it in the subnodes. It's not going to be as much for SSR units, and it's going to be more for SSR plus units, but still it's going to do the trick, and you really need those 40% resistances to get the 100% in both. Especially they are kind of lacking the magic resistance to begin with, so really good, I would say. And yeah, not much that I can say about this set other than what I already said. So yeah, these are my 2 sets. I will say obviously this one that I'm wearing now on Asensio gave me the best results, but still nothing exceptional. Like in my case, it's an 84% physical pierce with a 100% resistance in both. Definitely solid, but if I'm against pierce, I'm fucked. Like I'm going to explode. And I mean, the damage of the units that I tried it on was not that increased, I would say, because either most of them already had a lot of Pierce or Shred in their kits or in their teams. So this 30% was not as big as I was expecting. But yeah, whatever. Now for the other set, I think I have one on her. Yes. So that's more or less the same thing, but I created 2 sets for intelligence, which means they have more physical resistance to make up for their lack in physical resistance, and one for strength that just has less physical resistance because they didn't have good enough pieces to make another one for intelligence units. And here there is really not much, just straight up resistances. Some of them had okay rolls in Magic Pierce, so I could squeeze in some Pierce in there, mostly Magic, but not really that important, I would say. Is mostly resistances to make the units survive. And that's pretty much it. There is really nothing to building this kind of set. I have 3 of them at the moment. I'm using them here and there just when I need more slots. I'm still mostly using Runda and Doris because I like the additional utility on my DPS. But as I said before, if I'm using it on a team that either already has a shit ton of energy regen for the carry, like for example on a Tankanak team, then at that point I can just run RAFFLESIA on the support to further increase their spam instead of the carry, or on a Kaiser team because she doesn't really need the special move that much, though a Doris with additional swiftness could still be helpful, but I'm usually running at least 2 supports, so one of them will have Doris, the other one will have RAFFLESIA. So yeah, that's kind of the idea, guys. I hope I could make it clearer to you after this kind of explanation video. And yeah, I will try to add the presets to my spreadsheet and try to give some recommendation. It's going to be hard to kind of recommend this one over Sela, because I will say Sela is a lot stronger early on because it allows you to get the 100% resistances even if you don't have investment in Tree Essence. But RAFFLESIA and Alocasia can come in handy, like all the other sets, as soon as you have enough resistances coming from Tree Essence facility. So as soon as you unlock the 3rd page, you might start looking into building these sets. So yeah, that's the general idea. Let me know your thoughts on these sets on the comment section down below. And if you like the video, please drop a like and subscribe to my channel. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!